All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about sad news in the world of classic rock and bringing it to you in real time for a few real people just like you right there and just like me here. So, Rick Davies, one of the masterminds of the band Supertramp, has passed away at the age of 81. There is a lot to say about Rick Davies. He was underrated, underappreciated, maligned, pushed to the side, even though he wasn't really the one who broke up Supertramp, right? I guess the band wanted to go in, different guys in that band wanted to move the band in different directions. Rick was a little bit more progressive in his writing style, and Roger, I think, was a little more pop oriented. And they butted heads, and eventually Roger left Supertramp. Again, while the iron was still hot, or whatever the cliche is, right after the famous Last Words album, which I purchased the day it came out. I was into this band a lot. Breakfast in America, people will talk about that like it's their only album. It's not, but it is much like Rumors by Fleetwood Mac or Hotel California by the Eagles. I mean, song after song. I mean, if you go back and listen to that album from start to finish, even the deeper album tracks were played on rock stations. Okay. And I know people these days emphasize hit songs on the Billboard Top 40, but that album was played on good FM radio stations from pretty much start to finish. And what was cool in those days is if a song was beaten into the ground, the DJ would sometimes just switch and play a track on their own. And so this album got so much airplay, and it was one of those records that never got old to me. Even today, these songs are fresh sounding. And of course, Roger Hodgson is a big deal. And I think Roger's ego, especially in recent years, and I watched a lot of those concerts he did on his own, and he sounded amazing. He really did. But he's like, I'm singer-songwriter who wrote all of these Supertramp songs. And Supertramp is still out there. Now, why were they still out there? Because Roger left and Rick kept going with it. Now, a lot of people said, hey, Rick, it's just not the same without Roger. But I'm sure Rick's response was, well, he left. I've got the franchise, and I'm going to keep it going. Now, Rick actually achieved a top 40 hit with the song Cannonball on his own after Roger left. And if you listen to the long version of that song, it's really an amazing track. And by the way, please don't call Supertramp yacht rock. Please, for the love of God, please don't do it. Well, they were a good yacht rock band. No. Supertramp was pop, progressive. They had guitar stuff that was pretty out there at times. This was a very talented band, going back especially to their album Crime of the Century. They were moody. They just had a different vibe than other rock bands. And by the way, folks, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just insane. Because the talent is just so over the top in that group. And, I talk about like Alan Parsons, not in the Hall of Fame. Supertramp right next to them as far as talent and sonic landscapes, creating ear candy. Just really interesting twisting and turning with these songs, and some of them just brilliant pop songs. And you got to give credit to Roger there. But you also got to give credit to Rick for writing more progressive things. And again, these two were very creative. And if they could have kept things together in the 80s, there's no question they could have owned that decade. They keyboard-driven stuff Man, the possibilities. Roger had a couple of hits on his own. There's a tune by him called In Jeopardy that I absolutely love. And what is it? The Eye of the Storm, whatever it's called. Really weird video in that. But Roger, being Roger, super talented, but people I think kind of forgot about Rick Davies. Now, if you want to know how and why, he was 81 years old. Apparently, he passed away on Saturday. A statement to the press revealed that Davies passed away after battling multiple myeloma for over 10 years. So that's a big deal. What's also sad is that he and Roger, I don't think, ever reconciled, which is just stupid. Davies was born in Swindon, England, founded Supertramp with Hodgson, and they released their self-titled debut album in 1970. Just remarkable that they haven't been considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And please don't tell me they don't have enough catalog. They have more than enough catalog to be in there. They had their first commercial breakthrough with Crime of the Century, which is an amazing album, which hit the top 40 in the U.S. Their biggest success was Breakfast in America in 1979, obviously, which went to number one and spawned 3 hits, including the top 20 Goodbye Stranger, which Davies wrote and sings lead on. Hodgson wrote and sang the album's 2 other hits. Funny, because they played almost every song off of this. I love how, and see, please don't take this the wrong way, but when people get on the internet and talk about songs that should have been hits, okay, if you lived through the album rock era, as I did, you heard these songs on the radio, on different radio stations, okay? None of this was chained to the Billboard Top 40. If an album came out, a DJ would have discretion. Well, we beat Take the Long Way Home into the ground, all right? So we're going to play another track off of the album. And I heard DJs that would front sell and back sell and tell you what you just heard and what you're about to hear and why you're going to hear it and who's singing lead on it and even why they decided to play the song in the first place. Basically like, hey, I really like this song. So Davies had other songs like Bloody Well Right. What a great song that is. And a tune that I don't think American radio ever picked up on. And I recently featured it on my Patreon because I'm like, this song is amazing and nobody knows about it. It's called My Kind of Lady. And that was on Famous Last Words. That should have been the second single after It's Raining Again. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe it was. And A&M Records didn't spend any money promoting the song because it's kind of got this 50s retro thing, both the video and the song itself. It's brilliant. And that was written by Rick Davies. So Davies and Hodgson released 7 albums together before Roger left the band in 1983. Davies continued on with the group and they released 4 more albums. Their last album being 2002's Slow Motion. So it's been a long time since Supertramp put out music. Rick Davies is gone, aged 81. And from what I understand, he and Roger never reconciled. And that's just a shame. So when I say I'm documenting the end of the classic rock era in real time, unfortunately, days like these really demonstrate that particular thing. So Godspeed and God bless all of his relatives, the people he leaves behind, the fans who were definitely shortchanged when this band broke apart. But for those of us who remember this great music and who loved Rick Davies, this is certainly a sad day, but we appreciate his efforts. And you won't be hearing music like this being made anytime soon. God bless all the Supertramp fans out there. There's a legion of them. Maybe they're not as popular as they used to be, but tell you what, find a better album than Breakfast in America, and then, send me the link. Okay. All right, people. That's it. See you soon.